After 23 years, DC TV on the CW is now over. I saw the finale of Superman and Lois two nights ago now, and I can't stop thinking about it because it was such a beautiful send off to the show. Because it wasn't interconnected to the Arrowverse as a whole. Because at the end of season 2, it was announced Superman was the only superhero in the universe, which kind of felt off because everyone believed like Supergirl would come any minute. But then I would assume because of the cataclysmic event that happened, where the fuck's Flash, where's Supergirl, where's Martian Manhunter, why is no one else helping? So I guess that makes sense in a writing standpoint. But still, Superman and Lois concluded the Arrowverse in its entirety. Sure, you can say it ended with Flash last year, and everyone was sad that the Arrowverse ended last year, but everyone was like, we still have Superman and Lois to look forward to. But now that's done. Superman and Lois is done, and it won't come back unless somehow James Gunn is like, make that an outsourced project to make them have a Superman movie or a Superman limited series hour-long episode on HBO, because he can have that idea, because the only reason why it was cancelled prematurely, because it was initially had a set idea for 7 seasons, to have 7 seasons worth of stories, and if you have an idea of how many seasons you want from the get-go, every season will be good as a byproduct, because if you have a plan and you stick to the plan and not overdo it, kind of like what they did with Flash, it won't get bad, it won't get stale. That's what happened with Breaking Bad. It ended after 5 seasons, and everyone says it's like the best TV show of all time because of that. And then you see The Walking Dead, which dragged on for too long, but never mind. Yeah, but the only reason why Superman and Lois ended prematurely was because they announced a Superman movie directed by James Gunn, and James Gunn shared the ideas of what his new DC will be, and CW was like, we don't want a competing product with another Superman IP movie, whatever. And Nexstar apparently didn't like the idea that CW was catering towards teenagers for the better half of 20 to 30 years, starting with like Dawson's Creek and Gossip Girl back in the day. I don't know the truth to that, but that's what I've heard. You know a show is good when after you finish the show, you can't stop thinking about that final episode. Same thing happened with me for the end of Arrow, same thing happened with me for the ending of House, which I finished a couple months ago now. And it's no different to Superman and Lois. I'm currently streaming Sonic X Shadow Generations, and playing the stream last night, all I was doing the entire 2.5 hour stream was talking about Superman and Lois, basically, and thinking about it. Then when I was watching Gladiator 2 last night with my dad and in the cinemas, during the credits, instead of reflecting on that movie because it was a decent sequel for a phenomenal film, all I was thinking about was Superman and Lois finale. And that's how you know it's good, because you just think about it. And it's sad because, sure, that epilogue sequence was magnificent, and it was sad, and it makes you cry because there's a chance somehow, because it says another 32 years living, slight spoiler, but there's a chance we can get stories in those years, because in that episode I had a 1 year later sequence. Like, we can have a season for that 1 year. Sure, you can't really do anything spectacular like kill off a main member of the cast because they're all there at the end of the year, but there's a chance you can do a story there, whether it be a tie-in comic or what. But also the comic, the suits, the boys got their suits. Steel became the Man of Steel and had the Superman crest, same with Natalie and the cape. That was sick. And that was just all that epilogue moment. It overshadowed the first part of the episode to the point that you just think it's a different episode. I've also been seeing on Twitter so many people like just hating on the show in particular, because saying like the Arrowverse sucks, the CW sucks, which people can, you have the right to say that, but if you haven't watched anything, you can't say it's bad. You can't hop on the bandwagon and be like, oh, this is bad, without like delving into that, because you're just following the crowd who hasn't themselves seen or consumed the media. Because like, so there's also some like Superman like nerds be like, Superman can't die of old age, but since you haven't seen the show, you don't know why. But again, you're entitled to your own opinion, but it's pretty shitty. You're just narrow-sighted and like, he can't die. Doomsday doesn't sacrifice himself. Like, watch the show. The show is phenomenal, and you like every episode. My brain doesn't really think when I'm watching it that it's on the same network that every other Arrowverse show was on, because it's the only CW show that I've seen that has a widescreen aspect ratio to the point that it feels like it's a movie. The pilot episode was an hour-long episode that felt like a movie. Every episode just supported that claim. Like, honestly, like, it's on par with the visual effects as Man of Steel, especially in the first season. Sure, you can argue that since the budget was lesser, the visuals started to get poor, but it still looked good with the minuscule budget, and it looked 10 times better than what The Flash became. And The Flash had a higher budget in its final seasons than Superman and Lois ever did. I wanted to record this to talk about the Arrowverse and not Superman and Lois in particular, but I'm just delving into Superman and Lois because that's the last thing that happened. Same thing last year. I recorded a video last year right after watching the final episode of The Flash, which was pretty bad, talking about all this and talking about how I felt after The Flash, talking about how I met Stephen Amell and Katie Lotz and the actress for Diana Drake a couple months beforehand, and as I'm recording this, in 2 days' time, I'm going to meet Matt Ryan, Constantine himself, and as you can see over there, I'm going to cut to a shot. I have basically all the shows on DVD, up to the box set and each seasons of Supergirl, because of the box set was shit. I'm sorry, it just does. But each of the box sets besides Supergirl are signed by Stephen Amell and Katie Lotz respectively, and all the Crisis and all the crossovers are signed by the actors themselves. So it's fair to assume that I am a massive fan of the Arrowverse. I restarted it in 2021, right after I finished Lucifer, so 10 days after I'd finished Lucifer, because it was 10 episodes in the final season. I was on Netflix and I was like, what do I watch? And I started Arrow again. And I didn't realize I was going to watch it all, because in that moment, watching the pilot, I'd be like, let's watch the next episode tomorrow night. Then I started watching 2 episodes a night. Then it turned to Flash. I was like, how do I watch Flash? So I got a VPN, and then I got up to date. Because when I started the Arrowverse again, Season 8 of The Flash didn't even come out, and at that point, I actually believed that besides Smallville, Flash would be the first Arrowverse show, technically second if you include Smallville, to get 10 seasons. That wasn't the case, which, to my disappointment, but Eric Wallace just ruined that show. I'm sorry. The first 5 seasons, like 4 and 5 are alright, but then 1 to 3 are just very good TV. Same thing with Arrow. Arrow seasons 1, 2, and 3 are good. Well, 1 or 2 are phenomenal, but 3 is decent. I like 4 to an extent. 5 is just the best, basically. 1, 2, 3, and 8 are like peak Arrow. But same, like Legends was decent the entire time. Same thing was with Supergirl, but not as good as early Flash and early Arrow. But what's so weird is that Stargirl felt better than all of that. Same thing with Superman and Lois. It just felt better. And it's weird because they got so many shows to the point they put different shows on different Earths so it doesn't fuck up the continuity, which makes sense. Because Black Lightning was set on a different Earth and it was put on Earth Prime. Same with Supergirl was put to Earth Prime. But then when Stargirl and Superman and Lois were announced, they were announced on... Well, Stargirl was announced on a different Earth because Justice Society doesn't want to intrude on the Justice League, and Justice Society is going to fuck up the stuff they do with Legends, so it made sense. And now thinking about it, I think Stargirl also had a widescreen aspect ratio. I'm not 100% certain, but if that's the case, it makes sense in my memory that it felt more real, I would say. Felt more like cinema than the Arrowverse as a whole. Because I'm one who notice as soon as I start a movie, I'm like, oh hey, this is a full screen movie. Oh hey, this is a widescreen movie. That's the first thing I think about, then I forget about it like a minute later, but it's the first thing I think of because my brain associates movies with the widescreen. Sure, we can make it full screen and like it's the same aspect ratio on that TV, but it just something about widescreen feels like movies. And they did that with Superman and Lois, and I think Stargirl. It also helps the fact that the storylines in those shows felt good. Like it wasn't just another villain of the week TV show like The Flash was and like Arrow was to an extent. It actually became the entire season was one bad guy, and that made it more special and felt like a long movie with multiple episodes. Especially season 1 with Morgan Edge that became Tal-Rho, season 2 with the Ellie Elston things that brought back Lucy Lane from Supergirl, and brought back Tal-Rho as a good guy. Then season 3 was all about Bruno Mannheim that turned to fucking Lex Luthor. Then the final season was about Lex Luthor, but with Doomsday, and that Doomsday was the Bizarro from season 1, because at the season 2 I should say, and then in the beginning of season 2 we thought was Doomsday in the minds, and now like full circle, that was Doomsday. I don't even think there was a minute wasted in that final episode of Superman and Lois. Legitimately. I know I'm talking about it again, and I just wanted to say I didn't want to glaze over that, but it's Superman and Lois. It's just a perfect finale, and I said on stream last night that if I were to rewatch Superman and Lois, I don't think I have the courage to watch the finale again. Because I know for a fact I'm going to be watching the show again because it's that good. It feels like a movie. You can rewatch it again and again and again. The Arrowverse in its entirety, maybe not, because it's that much to consume. But with Superman and Lois and Stargirl, I feel like you can just rewatch. Because it was that good. Superman and Lois did the opposite of Superman and Lois did what I thought they would do on Stargirl, because in Stargirl there was a future sequence. Then Superman and Lois, there was a future sequence, but it had, instead of having the kids just not be there, the kids were aged up to different actors. And it's weird because Bitsy Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane, her IRL husband played her on-screen son. It's just a weird thing to think about, but it was pretty cool. But my one wish with the finale, there's two or multiple. My one wish was to have the boys have their Superman suits as an adult. It would be cool to see them in action, at least for a split second. Like, I don't know, like, were the older actors paid for their work? I don't know. Most likely, yes. But I would see an actor, at least Bitsy Tulloch's husband, just do it for free for the purpose of the story. The other wish was in that final amazing shot that I thought was the ending of the show, from when I saw it in Threads for the first time and spoiled myself. It would have been amazing that scenario Clark would have said, and new family, and having Tal-Rho and Kara, like Melissa Benoist Kara, just fly behind them. It would have been so cool having them there. And I also want to talk about what happened with the Bizarro Rebel Jonathan Kent and the Ellie Elsons, because they were there, and on this Earth, where are they? What happened to them? Like, surely that John Kent could have grown up to be like a good John Kent, right? So we have 3 Supermen, right? And what happened to the I forget his name, but Jordan and Jonathan's friend that became a speedster? What happened to him? You know, what happened to him? I want to know what happened to him. Also, it's also insinuated that Jordan and Jonathan didn't marry their childhood partners. Like, I do assume it's Candace at least, but I think it's not Sarah. Also, they didn't even bring in Natalie or Mateo in the future, which was a bit weird. Sure, I know probably they were doing stuff with the DAD, but Felt that to be weird. I know I said it before, but enough Superman and Lois. I'm not meant to be just talking about it again and again and again. But as I said before, it's the only thing I can think about because it was that fucking good of a series, that fucking good of a finale, that good of a TV show, to the point that there's no way in hell that these versions of these characters are gone forever, because in my brain, besides Christopher Reeve, Tyler Hoechlin, Clark, and Superman are the definitive Superman. Sure, you can say his Superman and Supergirl had a weird suit. I liked it at the time, but his suit now is just the best Superman suit I've seen IRL for a live action film, maybe besides the Man of Steel suit. But I believe his suit is better than the suit that David Consred is wearing, and it's basically just because of the S. I know the S is meant to be a comic thing, but the S on Superman and Lois is just better in my head. As I said before, I did try to record this exact type of video over a year ago, and I want to cut to that right now for you to see this exact feeling I'm feeling right now with The Flash. Alright, future editing Lewis here. What you're about to see is just random clips just bunched together that don't make any sense from a 50-minute long video I recorded last year. So if it doesn't make any sense and there's no flow to it, it's because I'm jam-packed 50 minutes into barely 5 minutes. So have fun with this. 2 episodes of the final season made me feel things. Episode 9 and episode 10, which is the episodes that essentially all the great cameos. Like, we got in episode 9, we got John Deal and Oliver Queen back, as well as Wally West to have celebrate his party, which, like, it may be emotional because I don't want to say it like this, but if it gave me the same feeling as Fast and Furious 7, knowing that we will never see Paul Walker on a Fast and Furious movie again. Same thing with like this. We will never see Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen ever again after this. Like, sure, we may see Grant Gustin's The Flash in some variation, because you see he loves playing The Flash, but we'll never see Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen ever again. But then also the episode after that, we got the legit, such a heartwarming thing for them to go full circle with the night Nora died. Like, essentially, our Barry we know now becoming the Flash of the future that we saw in season 1 and season 2, and him doing the wave he does to say no to not save Nora. Arrow quickly became one of my favorite shows of all time, and to be honest, it's the only show I have watched in its entirety, if you don't include the other Arrowverse shows, but it's the only show I've watched in its entirety, basically every night it aired illegally on my iPad, since the reason why is because season 3's trailer with Matt and Abel was only being announced on Go by the time of the mid-season finale of The Fall, which is like, or The Climb or The Fall, is like one of the best episodes of season 3. It wasn't airing in Australia to the point when we were watching season 3 of The Flash, when people were like, who's Savitar? I remember sitting in my computer applications class, a few of my friends talking about it, and since they were watching it live, even though I already finished like the season, it was weird to experience in that state of mind. Essentially, Green Arrow became one of my favorite superheroes. Then basically the same year with Avengers came out, had Hawkeye there, so Hawkeye and Green Arrow are like my favorite heroes. Then with the release of the Avengers Big Bad Bo, because I remember Big Bad Bo was a Walmart exclusive or something within the US, and we couldn't get it here. So when they announced the variant, but in the Avengers for everywhere, I got it, and when I got it, I set it up at my cousin's house, and I remember, I didn't set it up at my cousin's house, I brought it to my cousin's house, then I drawed it to my family. It was like my mom and my cousin's mom, and I was like, you have failed this city with the Avengers bow of Hawkeye in the manner of Green Arrow, and I remember doing that 11 fucking years ago, essentially. Oh no, it was the Christmas, so maybe like December of 2012. Wow. And I watched them with dinner on a mini iPad like this at dinner every night essentially, and sometimes I had to watch 2 episodes a night because I couldn't watch the other episode the night before because I was doing homework or something. I don't know. And fun fact, apparently Katie Lotz never saw this before, so I had a basically she could have remembered me by I was the first person to show her this, which is pretty cool. And what was also a cool memory as well was that Stephen Amell, when he was signed this, he was looking at the images for like a little bit whilst we were talking, which made me think that he was like reliving memories and all that because there was a couple of images with him in it. So like I'm happy I got to make him remember some things that he had uh his any memories. It was a heartwarming feeling to feel and witness like two like amazing actors I love got to like cherish some moment because of me. I don't want to sound like it parasocial or anything, but it still was such an amazing feeling. 39 seasons the Arrowverse was. With I'm not including Naomi because I don't think that is a CW show, but 39 seasons. If you plus 10, that's 49 seasons of superhero content, DC content on the CW, and it's now done. Sure, Stargirl interacted with the Titans, and Superman and Lois never really interacted with anything else besides a version of Diggle and a version of Tom Cavanagh. That was a pretty cool cameo, but I'm just in awe of this fucking show and what it accomplished, because it really is a full cycle thing. It started with Smallville, ended with Superman and Lois, and when they announced Superman and Lois, I was dumbfounded because they're doing a Superman show now. That's insane, with Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch's Clark and Lois respectively. I was like, no way, they're doing this? And at that point, it was airing alongside Flash, Batwoman, and Supergirl at the same time. Then it became just Flash and Superman and Lois, and it just became just Superman and Lois. And just like that, it's done. DC TV as we know it is done. Sure, we're going to have these HBO Max binge exclusive series, but they won't feel like TV. They will just feel like these limited series, and that's it. Maybe we'll get multiple seasons or whatever, but TV as we know it is done. You know, like we went from watching these shows on the TV to just streaming services, which is kind of sad to me, and I don't like the binge model. I never binge a show. I watch it at least one episode a night. That's it. If anything, two, if there's a massive series like the Arrowverse. Like the MCU, I grew up on the Arrowverse. Grew up on it. It started in 2012 when I was 10. I remember seeing the first trailer of Arrow like appear on my TV, and everyone was talking about it. And at that time, I don't even think I knew Green Arrow was or Oliver Queen was a DC character. Then when we started, it was like, oh, he's a DC character. Then in the middle of season 2, we had this mysterious character called Barry Allen show up, and it was like, that name's familiar. Then after that episode ended, I looked up Barry Allen on the iPad 2 or 1 or whatever we were watching it on, and it's like, this guy's the Flash. Then the Flash happened, that exploded. Then Supergirl happened, and they crossed over with each other. Then Legends of Tomorrow happened, and these Crisis events happened. Crisis on Earth X is still my favorite crossover event, and it feels like a movie. It does. Like, it's that good. It feels like a movie you can watch again and again and again, with all these Avengers type of characters coming together. But now at age 22, it's all done. It's done. Like, my entire life, basically, 22 years ago, well, 23 years ago, Smallville started. But 22 years ago, I was an infant, so I wouldn't have watched Smallville. And this is a sweet segue. Sweet segue. I am thinking which I'm probably actually going to do because it's going to give me a reason to watch all this stuff, I want to begin a TV Vault type channel reacting to TV shows. And I want to start it with Creature Commandos, which starts tonight, basically. I want to start that next week, as my next couple of days are pretty hectic. But if you want to see that, I hope I have the channel ready by the time this video is up. I'm going to try to edit it tonight, so hopefully the channel's up, working and up tonight. So subscribe to that if you want to see reactions to it, and I may or may not do a Patreon cut type stuff to make the full episodes. You can watch along with me, but like, it's going to give me an excuse to watch all this other stuff. And since Superman and Lois ended, I'm on this Superman high. Like, I want to watch Smallville, I want to watch Lois and Clark, I want to watch My Adventures of Superman, I want to watch Krypton, I want to watch all this DC media I haven't seen, like Swamp Thing and Titans and Doom Patrol, and I want to start shows I haven't watched but I know are good, like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Barry, all this stuff. So I want to put that on this channel, and I can't do it with House. I watched House, I love House. Imagine me doing that for this hypothetical channel that I want to do, and I can go back to particular episodes and see my physical reaction to it, and I can live vicariously through past me. That's the reason why I want to do this. That's the reason why I stream every night of these games, because I go back here and there to watch these old versions of me react to something I love. To say I'm going to have a lot of work to do for YouTube is an understatement. I have so many plans for this channel and now that channel, plus the VOD stuff, plus music stuff. I have a lot going on that I want to do. I have a lot of videos in the pipeline on this channel I still need to begin. I have an idea of like a remake of Arrow thing that I still want to do. There's so many seeds in my body that need to grow to flourish. But I digress. This video is done. This recording is now 30 minutes. It's probably gonna be a 30-minute video, including the stuff I recorded last year. But if you watch this all, I commend you. If you didn't, how do you know that I said this? But yeah, my name has been Lois. This has been my entire spiel about Superman and Lois, the Arrowverse as a whole. And if this is up after I met Matt Ryan, here's the photo, and the signature. But yeah, my name has been Lois, and this has been that. See you on the TV channel if that happens, which I'm probably gonna, I'm gonna commit to that. So yeah, see ya.